Good morning, everyone. It's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do your Sunday What's Cracking for the Sunday the 9th. I was going to say the 8th then. I was going to say no, it was the 8th yesterday. Sunday the 9th of December. I hope you're all well. I've got my cup of tea ready. I'm a bit late getting up this morning, so I had a friend's birthday last night, so it was nice. Went out for dinner. And today, not so bad. A couple of readings and a pretty lazy day, which would be nice. And of course, the rest of the weeklies if you're waiting on them. So, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I can't explain how wonderful that is to me, but you already know that. Okay, so we're going to carry on with Witch's Tarot today. So let's see what's cracking for Sunday. There was some sort of celebration here. This would make sense for a Sunday. Bit of getting together with friends and family and having a celebration. Sometimes this talks about, you know, christenings, weddings, birthdays, and it's about family and friends. Sort of, it's funny, isn't it? It's what I did last night. You know, catching up with people, having a good time. It's all about celebration, the Three of Cups. Okay. Now, the first card out is the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles is one that talks about, you know, people hanging on to things too tightly, not wanting to let things go. Sometimes it's about money because he is holding Pentacles, so maybe you're going through a bit of a tough time financially at the moment. But other times this is about hanging on to thoughts, memories, regrets, things that you should really let go. And it just shows that this is the energy around you at the moment. Hanging on for dear life. Okay, and then we have the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man talks about taking time out to go inside to enlighten yourself. It's about looking at things in a very different way. So not looking at things the way you've always looked at them, but looking at them very differently. Okay, and then we have the Empress here. She's been showing up a lot lately in the cards. The Empress talks about Mother Nature, Gaia. She's the woman that's very natural, very beautiful. She's about to birth something. So sometimes this is the card of having a child, falling pregnant, fertility. Sometimes it's about birthing really, really good ideas. Okay, and then we have the card of the Page of Pentacles, which talks about making an offer or receiving an offer. Sometimes this can be about education, can be, in my mind, a peace offering or something, you know, that you give to someone, a small gift, a little present. Sometimes it can mean the start of something new because it is a page. Which is beautiful. My cards are very green this morning. If you're a person who follows the colours. Okay, and then we have the Seven of Wands. Now, the Seven of Wands talks about being defensive, feeling like you have to stick up for yourself, poking and prodding back at people, sort of trying to fend off arguments and disputes and conflicts. And then we have the Six of Pentacles, which is about keeping balance, keeping an even give and take, making sure you give back what you've received. So that's not always financially, even though this is shown in Pentacles. Many times this is in kind, like people taking more than they deserve, people not giving a return for what you've provided to them. That's the Six of Pentacles. Okay, and then we have the Strength card. Now, the Strength card talks of, you know, being able to tame your dark side, being able to understand what your dark side is and how to work with that. Now, for some people, it might not be anything, you know, great. You know, for some of us, it might be about learning how to be patient. Can be about, you know, having fears of things, obsessions, but trying to work with that to build your strength up. Because in the tarot cards, it sort of really implies that, well, it does in real life, I guess, too, that having a good balance in your life is what is really important. So if you're not balanced in yourself, then you can't receive abundance. So this talks about understanding what parts of you are needing to be brought into balance with others. So if you're always good, well, maybe your dark side is that you're always too good and you don't always speak up for yourself, or you don't always say no. But maybe it's about not being tolerant of people. Okay, and then we have the Page of Wands. Now, the Page of Wands is a messenger. He's coming with a message of passion. He wants to shout this out from the mountaintops here. So he's very defiant and definitely got a message here. I'm going to do a bit of a recap. So what I've got here is there are people here at the moment. There's a celebration here. So something is feeling good for people. People are going into better times. But I feel like you've either had to move yourself more towards this Empress. You've been hanging on to things and you've had to look at, how do I approach things in a very different way? Because I need to be a little bit more, I need to learn how to be a bit more how I need to be, sort of thing. That makes sense. I'm trying to work myself towards understanding, that in the world I need to have an equal give and take. Maybe you're the type of person who doesn't trust others. And maybe you need to learn how to be more trusting of people, because something has happened in the past here that you've refused to let go of. You've tried to look at it differently, but maybe you found that very difficult to understand. And the universe is saying that, you've got this distrust of others here, and you need to have an equal give and take and learn this about yourself. So this reading's about learning. It's about learning how to give and take, how to be at one with the universe, how not to distrust people. Because it looks as though you're having trouble getting past the idea of trusting others. There's lots of stories here. Sorry, I'm trying to sort of sort through things. I feel like you want to make an offer to someone. Maybe you don't trust them. Now, this doesn't have to be necessarily, it could be family, friends, whatever. This is about you, learning this about yourself, learning how to have an equal give and take, understanding that you can't always just take from people and you can't always just give to people. There has to be return on that. If you don't have a return on that, then what will happen is you become bitter and twisted like you are here. So you become resentful because you're the one who's always handing out. And then this resentfulness starts to build until you internalize it all. And the Strength card is asking for us to understand that. Because people go all the time, that they do everything for everybody and they ask for so little in return and think that's okay. But it's not okay. And it's not okay for people to accept that that's okay. So it's okay to give. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful thing to give. But sometimes you have to let people give back to you. You have to have that return. Otherwise you become very burned out and very resentful and unhappy. So this is about understanding equal give and take. We have a King of Wands coming through here too. Okay, all right, now I get it, for a new start. The Fool's here as well. So I think for some of you, this is about a relationship with someone, and maybe it's a Leo, Sag, or Aries here. Now, this could be, like a father figure. It could be a mother. It could be a family member. It could be a child, an adult child more likely, because you have to give to a young child. But still, even if you're giving to a small child, you should still expect some things in return. So you don't have children and just give to them. It's your responsibility to teach them how you need to give back to. So with a child, the expectation would be very different. But you would expect with the child that it would be somewhat grateful for what it receives, and you need to teach them that. So when they become adults, they don't become these people here who are bitter and twisted because they always do the giving and nobody gives back. So this reading today is about some of you learning about how to receive, how to sort of get this dark side of you. There's a relationship or something here that needs fixing and needs a brand new start. And I feel like maybe it's someone around you you're trying to teach this. Maybe you see someone around you who's been taken for granted. Because with this Page of Wands here, I see him really yelling at people to say, you know, you have to stop this. So maybe you have someone you really love or someone you're very close to who just keeps giving to someone. And you're like, you can't keep doing this. You know, this isn't fair on you to keep doing this. You need to stop. And they keep doing it out of, you know, it may be out of fear of being reprimanded. It might be out of fear of, you know, having to fight for themselves. It may be out of fear of, you know, what they've been taught. Because, of course, again, coming back to some of the way we're raised is very much about that we have to keep giving and we don't receive. It's something that somebody was greedy that made up, I'm sure of it. The world isn't about that. The world, it's equally as important to receive as to give. Now, if this is people in relationships, I always talk about the give and take in terms of emotions. If you're investing everything you have into a relationship, every time the relationship starts to go sour, you keep putting more in and the other person keeps putting less in. It's not the relationship for you. If a person in a relationship can't give back to you, then it's not a relationship. I'm sorry. It's not a relationship. It's a bargaining chip for the other person. So they'll just keep using you up till you have nothing left. And one day you'll become so resentful and you'll end up breaking up anyway. So you have to learn that the other person needs to put in what you're putting in. So that's the reading for this morning. So there must be a lot of people out there in relationships where they're doing all the giving and the other person's doing all the taking. Not necessarily a love relationship. This could be a family one. You could have a father who is extremely demanding, a brother. You could have a friend who, well, I don't know if they're a friend really, if they're doing the same thing, but sometimes it can be somebody you just have around you that just thinks that you're there for their beck and call and you don't get anything in return. Barely a thank you. Oh, that's interesting because I've got the card of pets out and it says you love and understand animals. So I'm not quite sure what that means, but absolutely, maybe you should be more like your pets. Pets have unconditional love. Doesn't matter what you do to a dog. You can be cruel to a dog, knock it around, whatever. It doesn't matter. That dog still manages to come back and love people when they're cruel, which is really very difficult. So I'm not sure why they sent that card through. Okay, so we've got the card of hello and goodbye, and it says you'll soon see that this change will make things better. So maybe it's about saying goodbye to people. Maybe it's about reminding them that sometimes they need to put in a little bit of effort too. But anyway, and if you have pets, yes, they love unconditionally. They just keep giving, 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 and they don't expect anything back in return, which is pretty sad because as a human being, you shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, have a great day, everyone.